Hello, this is Elizabeth Liebeck, one of the attorneys. We will be starting in a couple of minutes at 1:10. Thank you for your patience. Hold on. Right, not right now. Hold on a second here.
Okay, folks, thank you for joining us. I appreciate all of you who took the time or taking the time to join our press conference today. My name is Jared Beck. I'm an attorney with Beck and Lee Trial Lawyers in Miami, Florida. My partner, Elizabeth Lee Beck, is also with us today, and the purpose of this press conference is to announce the filing of a major class action against Wells Fargo for racial discrimination in a disturbing series of episodes in what has been called by the New York Times banking while black. So I'm just going to give a few brief introductory remarks. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask those using the chat function. And at the end of my remarks, Elizabeth will be reading out any questions from the audience relating to the lawsuit or our client, Mr. Ernst Valery, and we'll take those as they come. So the case was filed Monday in the Northern District of California, the Federal District Court in San Francisco. The plaintiff in the lawsuit is Mr. Ernst Valery, who is a very prominent real estate developer based in Baltimore, Maryland, who has a really just an extraordinary and impressive track record of development throughout the country in places as diverse as Maryland, DC, Pennsylvania, Virginia, California, and New York. His specialty, his area of focus is underserved, low-income minority communities. And he's won numerous awards and recognitions for his real estate projects. And most recently, he was and is serving as one of the co-chairs of the transition team for the new mayor of Baltimore, where Mr. Valery lives and his business is based. On October 9th, 2020, Mr. Valery and his wife visited the Wells Fargo branch closest to their home in Baltimore. The purpose of the visit was to deposit a check. And Elizabeth, if you could run the PowerPoint while I'm speaking.
Yes, of course.
The purpose of the visit to the Wells Fargo was to deposit a check in the amount of $3 million that Mr. Valery had earned as part of the state of Maryland historic tax credit program in relation to a development that's received a lot of attention and press in Baltimore, which is the transformation of the old abandoned St. Michael's Church into a brewery and residential housing. And if you go through the PowerPoint, Elizabeth, I think you'll see pictures from Mr. Valery's illustrious development career. And if you keep going, you'll see a picture of the check that Mr. Valery went to deposit on that day, October 9th, 2020, with his wife. If you could move to the check, Elizabeth, on the PowerPoint. Not that one. That's the brewery. That's the same. There it is. That's the check that Mr. Valery sought to deposit, made out directly from the state of Maryland. Unfortunately, and very sadly, and I think reflective of some really sad trends in our country at this moment in time, instead of simply depositing the check in Mr. Valery's account at Wells Fargo, and he'd been a customer of Wells Fargo for many years. He had many accounts with Wells Fargo. He was an active customer of the bank. But instead of just simply depositing Mr. Valery's money in his own account, the manager of the bank came out and began berating Mr. Valery with a series of harsh interrogative questions, questioning Mr. Valery's entitlement to the funds, questioning his knowledge of what the funds were for, and ultimately affirmatively concluding to Mr. Valery, with his wife standing here, that he was not the type of person entitled to be in possession of money in this amount. And so Mr. Valery was unable to make the deposit into his own account and had to leave the Wells Fargo, unable to conduct this, what should have been a very, very simple and straightforward transaction. The time, and we've made the complaint available to the press, and I'll just tie it up now. This is pictures where the Wells Fargo branch where all this happened. But I'll just say this, the time for these shameful banking while black incidents has come to an end. And it's Mr. Valery's determination, in line with his entire career philosophy of turning negatives into positives, to turn this particular negative into a positive. And he would like to see, through this lawsuit, some serious fundamental changes happen at Wells Fargo in terms of how this banking institution deals with Black banking customers. We've pled a claim under 42 section 1981 of the US Code, which is a statute that Congress passed right after the Civil War to assist in the transformation of this country's legal system to one that recognized slavery, to one in which Black people are unquestionably free citizens with all the rights of free citizens. What happened to Mr. Valery is a shameful remnant of a shameful era in this country's history. It's long time overdue that this shameful remnant be put to an end. And that's what we hope to achieve through this lawsuit. So with that, we'll be happy to take any questions from the audience relating either to the lawsuit or Mr. Valery or anything we've spoken about today.
So if you can send in your questions into the chat box, I will. If you can just state your name and affiliation, if any. And if you put your questions there, we'll have a brief question and answer session. Thank you.
If there are questions.
This is a question from Mr. Kevin Wack. Why is this a class action suit? Kevin Wack, American banker.
So we filed this as a class action suit because Mr. Valery's experience, along with the experiences of many other Black Americans, specifically at Wells Fargo, indicate that this is an experience that is the experience of banking while Black is an experience not just limited to what Mr. Valery experienced, but it's an epidemic being experienced across the country by similarly situated people. The class action is a weapon under the law in which many claims can be bundled together to fight a large organization like Wells Fargo in court and get real results, including damages and injunctive relief. And so in order to have the maximum legal or the maximum impact on society with his claims, Mr. Valery made the decision to file this as a class action.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? So just a few concluding remarks. If you would like to, if you're a member of the press, I know some of you are members of the press and wish to speak with Mr. Valery, please feel free to contact Mr. Charles Jones.
Why don't you give them his email address and contact information?
Okay, that is a good idea. Sorry. Charles Jones, his phone number is 305. Sorry, C Jones at cjonespr.com. And his phone number is 305-987-7418. If you're a member of the public, please feel free to contact the attorneys. You can contact me at elizabeth@beckandlee.com. And I understand that there is a paywall, so if you would like court file documents such as the complaint, it has been uploaded onto a website. That website is, let me just pull it up and then I can screen share.
Is that it?
No, I'm gonna screen share, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm sharing, folks, is a screen share from our WordPress website. If you go to beckandlee.wordpress.com /2020 /12 /, you will see a link to Ernst Valery versus Wells Fargo. If you click on that, you'll have the complaint and all the documents that were filed yesterday, I believe, or actually on the 14th, available for download, and it will get updated periodically with more court file documents. Let me just take a look at the chats to see if there are any other questions. Okay. This is a question from Michael Scott. I have a question. Will you be looking at the cycle of harm and redress, almost like a perennial premium, as insurance that profitable but discriminatory practices continue? Thank you very much, Michael. Jerry, would you like to address the question of?
Yes, absolutely. There's, I don't want to get into the specific theories about exactly how Wells Fargo enacts its racist policies. Those will be coming out as we enter the discovery process of the case, but I can assure you that's one of the things we're looking very strongly at.
Okay, if there's no other further questions, thank you very much for attending this Zoom press conference. And I hope all of you have a nice holiday and New Year's. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.